Captain's log, 22 September. I've been continuing on with the editing. My god, I've spent hours on it and I'm only maybe a quarter of the way through. But yeah, this one's taking a while. I think it'll be okay though. I'm quite happy with how it looks at the moment. Things always get better in the edits because you can surprise yourself with new humorous bits that you wouldn't have thought of while you were doing the recording. So I think it's going to be okay, but I'm just a little bit worried about the subject of the video overall. It's nice making something that's like entertaining for people, but if it's not immediately kind of catchy, then well, it doesn't really matter whether you make it extremely entertaining or not. It's just not going to get shown to people. But there's just one of those main considerations about YouTube. But I feel like it's something fun, and I can share this in some extra places as well that the other types of videos might not be able to be shared in. So we'll have to see. But now, back to work. Skipping ahead again now, it's Thursday, it's 10:30, so I'm not sure if I'll be able to make it for the video today, but look, we're nearly done with the recording, sorry, the editing. Just a little bit left on the end, and then I'll need to do some proof watches and other kind of edit passes, but yeah, this one's taken quite a while to get done. So now it's the 24th, the video will be released today at around midday. Right now I'm currently working on the thumbnail, so I'll be trimming out my face, and what I usually do for the thumbnails is record them using this camera, the Canon G7X Mark II. And what I mean by record them is I'll take a video and like kind of do a few poses, because the color quality on the Canon camera is better than anything else, also like the field of view. I hate the pictures of myself that come out from my phone. I'm using an iPhone 12. It's just nowhere near as good as these cameras. So when that's done, I usually have a checklist for preparing and putting the video out. It involves, uploading the video, doing the description, the tags, the end screen, and all that stuff. And then once that's done, I move on to the publicity checklist, as I call it, which will have like all the places that I put the video. And usually what I do is I recreate this checklist on pen and paper. So I'll like draw circles and write down all the places I need to put it, and then I'll take them off one by one. So I'm recreating that task list from memory, and it's pretty much a variation of the same list I've been using ever since the beginning. And then finally, when the video's out, I can get on with some other projects and just chill. That's one of the exciting things about putting a video out is, you've kind of been burnt out on this project, so you're looking forward to getting on with the next thing. So yeah, I'm looking forward to that. Onwards. So here we are with the menial task of thumbnails. What am I doing? I'm basically cutting out this frame of myself just to test and see if this is a good one to use. So just to show you, with the Canon G7X Mark II, I basically make a bunch of poses, and I have a bit of nice lighting going on, and then I'll kind of pick like the one that's got a nice expression or position. And I tend to like the ones with the glasses, even though I don't wear them much inside of the videos now. But after doing a little bit of audience surveying, and by audience surveying I mean like asking one person, or not even asking for their opinion, they just gave it to me. They're like, oh yeah, the glasses is definitely better, so okay, I'll keep them. So I'm usually quite meticulous with this, but I'm not making any proper curves because I don't really need to do that. So I just click and click as I go. Sometimes, as I'm moving the cursor while I'm doing this, it's making some extra kind of Bezier curves, but I'm not too fussed about getting it completely accurate. This takes a little while to do, but you can get pretty quick at it, as you do over time. I'm sure other people use lots of different ways to cut out their faces and stuff, but this is the way I do it. Also, I think the outlines look pretty nice when you add them afterwards after doing it with kind of this much detail. I've also noticed that I say kind of a lot, kind of when I'm right there, as I'm describing things. But when I've been listening to other YouTubers talk about things, I've noticed that I'm not the only one that does it. It's just another one of those things that I guess is part of language. Although the YouTubers I've been listening to are mostly Australian. And I've noticed that there's a lot of things I do that also sound a bit Australian. One of them is the kind of questioning intonation at the end of sentences as it goes up like that. That actually annoyed people quite a lot in the beginning of YouTube. And I think I tried to kind of reduce it a bit, but I still do it quite a lot anyway. But yeah, that's always interested me. Just these kind of little linguistic quirks that pop up. Another thing that someone pointed out to me was I used to say "let me tell you" a lot, like at the beginner sentences. Oh, well, let me tell you like how this works. Or, oh, let me tell you, this was just like this, But I've kind of reduced doing that. There's nothing wrong with doing it, but I think if it's enough to annoy people, then it might be worth kind of just changing it. I do change the way I speak to people depending on where they're from, and I don't really want to say what they're interested in, it kind of depends, and again, kind of there. But more especially for the YouTube videos and stuff, because I will stop and say something again if I don't think I said it right, and that's something I don't necessarily do when just talking to friends. Also, like accent-wise, I would have kind of what you would call an estuary English accent, but that's kind of like a vaguety, I suppose, because I feel like estuary English, or especially where I am and how I've been raised, it's more like a spectrum accent where it's somewhere in between Cockney and posh with some Americanisms mixed in. so I don't really know what to describe this accent, but I am conscious of it, I'm aware of it. It is funny because I don't feel like I could be mistaken for being American just from the accent, but people do mistake me for that, and I get some emails from people talking about it. One of the most interesting ones, there was someone mistook me as being from Pakistan, and I have no idea how that one came about, but I suppose when you have an international audience, it's kind of just like, well, they might not have been exposed to many accents throughout their life. So maybe anyone that doesn't sound like them is like the next best thing that they recognize. So theoretically, I can imagine someone from India who might not have heard many accents thinking, ah, that doesn't sound like me, so maybe they're from Pakistan. But it is fascinating because I talk to a lot of people about accents, especially Charon, again, just reading things from India. And one thing that Zacharias Reinhardt said to me that has stuck with me, because it's actually completely true from speaking to other people, is that for people like them that have, you know, identifiable accents, so Zach has a German accent, and Charon obviously has an Indian accent. And while we're on it, Agniv, Renderites, he's mentioned this once or twice, I think. Like, when they get comments complaining about their accents, it's usually from people from their own country, not from other countries. Usually. Of course, that's a big generalization. There's always going to be exceptions to that. You know, international audience, you're going to get people complaining from all around the globe. But it's just strange that it seems to be a thing, that the people that complain are usually your own people. Anyway, so now I've done the major cutout, I'm just going and doing these extra cutouts. I don't know if I should probably connect that. Yeah, why would there be something there? I like that, you know, with vectors, when doing 2D work like this, you can kind of use Boolean operations, which is a concept we should all be so very familiar with. So if I go up like that, select the original and cut out, that kind of makes sense, but I think I'll probably just flatten this out. Yeah, that's fine. It's kind of funny because I don't usually show any of this process, and I think it's probably just a nice time for a chat. Doing kind of semi-daily vlog type stuff is interesting, and it's not just a vanity exercise, which is kind of one of the reasons I was worried about doing stuff like this in the first place. I have found that when talking about things, it helps to reset the mind and keep you focused and keep you motivated to continue working. Now there's a massive caveat to that, because there's a few things we need to talk about related to that sentence, right? So say for example you're stuck and you don't know what to do. Maybe if you're programming, that's always the example that comes out. There's a psychological trick you can do to help yourself understand what you're working on, and it's talking to a rubber ducky, as they call it. The rubber ducky method, or I don't know, it's probably got a different name. If you stop what you're doing and try to explain what it is to someone else, then it helps you reset and refocus the idea in your head, so you're more likely to understand it better afterwards. It can help you find a direction if you're stuck. That's another one of the major benefits of making content for people online, is that you are much more likely to better and fully understand a concept if you try and teach it to someone else after you've learned it. Now that's not to say that you should just recycle what you've recently learned in a video. What I mean is, if you're kind of experimenting or studying with something and you're trying to enhance your understanding of it, then it's a good idea to try and teach it to other people, because what you're essentially doing is you're kind of distilling the most important points of information, learning to find a good way to explain them to people, and then by doing that you can condense that information in your mind almost, so it's just nicely packaged inside of your own head. However, we run into the danger that every young person learning to make games and stuff like that does, which is, if you're confident that you want to do something, never ever ever tell someone you're going to do it before you actually start doing it. It's a trap that almost everyone falls into, because it's exciting trying something new, but in doing so you bump into the psychological quirk that I have talked about on my channel, which is you feel like you've already achieved something just by telling people you're going to do something when you actually haven't. So in your mind you feel like you can relax. It's like, I've told people that I'm going to do this, so I can take a break now. And then you'll never do it. So telling people and showing people that you're doing something is a very mixed bag in terms of like results. I feel like with the daily vlog type stuff, it's beneficial to talk about the short-term projects, because they're things that I know that I can't change. I know I'm going to put this video out. There is nothing that can change that now. So it's okay to talk about that. Same thing with other things like, I don't know, if I was doing an update to EasyBPY, I know that eventually I am going to update that, and nothing can change that. It's not a high-risk project where it could disappear at any moment, if that makes sense. Now let's see, it was the stroke width was 5.7. Let's go for that, and we make that white. Oops, grab the outline instead. There we go. So that's my face. I think actually I quite like that face. Oh yeah, why does it say Cycles X? Because I'm recycling the Cycles X one. So need to find a way to describe, hey, I'm designing my future studio in Blender and I'm pointing towards it. So I will typically stop and think about what will look nice with this. I need to show the studio, but what part of the studio is gonna be attractive? Do I actually need text on the thumbnail at all? Because I can just point at the studio if it looks interesting enough. So yeah, I'll think about that. But for now, I'm gonna stop this recording. Alright, it's time for some late night Tetris. Let's see how we do now. I haven't done any practice and I'm feeling quite tired, so let's see what happens. Maybe I should link in what the actual soundtrack to this is, this level, so you can listen to it like in your own time. Shoot! Messed up. Oh no, I just made that a lot more difficult myself. Oh, already? I'm really not in the right state of mind to be doing this. Thing is, like, I have a tactic in my mind, and then whenever I stop playing it, I completely forget the tactic. Remember the tactic, Curtis. This is so experimental and so risky. We're living on the edge right now. Wait, hold on. Oh no, this isn't going to work out. I tried to be experimental, but I just shot myself in the foot even more. Look, sometimes you try something and it goes wrong and whatever. I keep making too many mistakes on myself. Okay, slower, no mistakes. We need to sacrifice that hole at the bottom. Okay, I definitely do better when I'm trying to be more efficient with it. See how I write back at ground zero again. And I've messed up. Okay, I said no mistakes and I just made one. Okay, we need to be kind of meticulous. Okay, so we got the max already. Look at all the pretty colors. Shoot. Oh, fucking. This is where it all goes wrong. Why is it so far? Why is it speed level 10? It's literally the hardest. I don't have time to think. No, what? How? That is not a functional line. Oh, over there. No. That's not good. No, not there. Oh shit. I don't care what PC you are, you're going over that side. Nope, that side. I want to 70 out of 90. Damn it. It's too fast.